What is the best decade of football? Which era was the most talented? These are questions football fans have been asking forever. The only way to determine this is to take the best players from each decade, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, and put them on the field in a tournament to determine the greatest NFL era. This is the NFL All-Decade Tournament. This is the semifinals. 2 games to determine the 2 teams to play for the best decade in NFL history. The first semifinal features the 2000s and the 90s, a rematch of the first round robin game where the 2000s snuck away with the win at the last second thanks to a last second Champ Bailey interception. One thing has changed because now starting at quarterback for the 90s is the gunslinger himself, Brett Favre. Elway's bad decisions has thrusted number 4 into the starting lineup. He will give the 90s a fearless attitude, an unmatched passion for football, and a rocket arm. Both teams are loaded on the offensive side of the ball. Look for the team that can make the big plays in the biggest moments to win this one. Here we go, it's the 90s and the 2000s. Semifinal action starts now. The 2000s receive the ball, and Tom Brady doesn't waste any time putting points on the board as he hits Marvin Harrison and then Randy Moss to move the ball into field goal range for Adam Vinatieri to make it 3-0. Fast forward to the second quarter, the defenses are both in pure domination mode. This time, a bad decision from Tom Brady costs his team as he throws the ball to the flat. Kevin Green times that perfectly and takes it all the way back for 6, making it 7-3 90s. Brady isn't the only one making mistakes though, as Favre is also picked off by Ed Reed in 90s territory. The 2000s add a field goal and cut the lead to 1. The 90s are unable to come up with points before the half as Warren Sapp muscles his way to a sack. On 3rd and 11 at the start of the second half, the defense continues to dominate. This time it's Michael Strahan with the sack. The very next drive, the 2000s at midfield look to put up more points but are slowed to a screeching halt as T.O. fumbles. That's pounced on by safety Rod Woodson of the 90s. Brett Favre may be the chosen one for the 90s as he sends 2 bullets at Sharp 2 plays in a row, carrying the 90s into the 2000 side of the field before putting it right on the money to Andre Reed for the touchdown. 90s now lead 14-6. But hold on, Brady says this isn't over yet. He bombs it deep to Terrell Owens. Touchdown 2000s. T.O. redeems himself for that fumble with a huge touchdown. The 2000s go for the 2-point conversion to tie the game, but it's denied. The 90s still hold the lead 14-12. With 4 minutes left, the 90s are trying to put this game out of reach, but Michael Strahan says no siree, again with the sack, giving this offense another shot to score. It's time for the famous Tom Brady 2-minute drill. Can he deliver again in the clutch? Brady to Gates, touchdown, wide open in the flat, standing alone for the go-ahead score. 2000s are up 19-14 with a minute left on the clock. Elway, Favre, it doesn't matter. The 2000s prove they are the superior team and win the game 19-14 after a 3rd and 6 conversion to ice the game. Great comeback win for the Team 2000s, but they won't be able to afford early mistakes versus their next opponent. Who will Team 2000s face in the Super Bowl of the all-decade teams? Let's find out. Semi-final Game 2. The 70s take on the 80s for the second time in the tournament. Last time these two teams played, the 70s defense dominated Montana and the offense, and Lynn Swann was literally, and I mean literally, unstoppable. The guy could not be stopped. The 70s received the ball at the start of the game and continue where they left off as Staubach hits Drew Pearson for a quick 20-yard gain, and then another bomb touchdown to Lynn Swann. Did the 80s even game plan for this guy? Seriously, he made it look way too easy. Later in the first, the 80s offense faces a 3rd and 10. Montana goes long for Jerry Rice, but it's broken up, and the 70s just are making a statement on defense, making sure that Joe knows that that won't be open all game. While the game remains scoreless, the 70s defense continues to dominate, shutting down Walter Payton on this 2nd and 1. Nowhere to run whatsoever on this 70s front. Early in the second, with the ball in the 80s side of the field, the Steelers convert a short 3rd and 3 with a screen pass to O.J. Simpson. But this drive is locked down as Lester Hayes makes a spectacular interception in his own red zone, jumping up, snatching that ball, and making a play for a team that's in desperate need of one. But still, that turnover doesn't give enough of a boost to the offense as Jack Lambert stuffs Sweetness in the backfield once again. And I'll let you guess what's going to happen on this play. Whenever Staubach drops back about the 50-yard line and launches the ball into the end zone, it's probably going to one guy and one guy only, number 88. Yup, that's Lynn Swann with another freak touchdown catch, schooling all his defenders in his area. The 80s offense finally gets something going with a deep crossing connection between Montana and Winslow into 70s territory, setting up a field goal on the drive. After half, the 80s receive the ball but are unable to capitalize. The 70s get to Joe Montana because it's Mean Joe Green with the sack for the 70s. Drew Pearson is Roger the Dodgers' target again to open another drive with 2 catches in a row, but the 80s defense says no sirree, get out of here. They stand tall on 3rd down to force a field goal. The 70s take it and add to their lead. And this is where the game just absolutely starts to get out of hand. Joe trying to make something happen, passes it to Kellen Winslow. It's stripped away by the 70s. Their opportunistic defense comes to play once again, and they snatch that ball up from the turf and give it back to their offense. Just a couple plays later, Staubach hits his Cowboy teammate Drew Pearson for the score, making it 24-3 going into the 4th quarter. We are going to have to see a major comeback if the 80s hope to win this one. No comeback, says Bobby Bell as he times the Montana pass perfectly, taking it all the way back for a touchdown. Just an embarrassing game from the 80s standpoint. The 70s look very, very strong and have to be considered the favorite going into the final game. They're going to be trying to get their revenge against the 2000s, winning a blowout 31-9 from an intimidating defensive play and a big play offense. Tune in for the conclusion of the all-decade tournament as the 70s will take on Mr. Tom Brady and the 2000s in the final of the all-decade tournament. If you were wondering how I sim this, I actually used a website called whatifsports.com. They do a lot of simulations. You can go on there, you can sim games from the NHL, NFL, NBA, and MLB. Alright guys, it's Mitch of the Bottom Line View.